Welcome to Chief Experience Officer, Brand Experience Multimedia series that features exclusive interviews with consumer-facing goods and retail thought leaders on building superior brand experiences. How does being a millennial help inform the way that you think about your marketing programs?
I think just us being millennials, and I think he's on the cusp of millennial and Gen X. We don't typically think of ourselves like that.
Yeah.
If you do the math, that we are millennials. I think, for one, it's kind of showed in our own practices. For the longest time, we just ran our business the way we thought it should be run.
Yeah.
We run like a GMP grade facility, even though we're not required to. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. We've just always implemented the things that we felt should always be implemented by all companies. And it's only been a bit more recently that we've realized that, not all companies do the other things that we do or have the goals that we have, and we need to share that. And so the fact that you're saying that for a lot of millennials, this is kind of the baseline, that's how it was for us too. And then we kind of relearned of the fact that we need to be sharing this, because when you do share it, it kind of points out to people, not a lot of companies are doing these things, and so we should support a company that, it's really just us being genuine if you share your message, you'll draw the people in that agree with you.
And for the longest time, we didn't share the message because we thought this is normal. Like, why would people want to know, okay, we're wearing beer nets and hair nets and this and that, or having stainless steel and making sure everything is 100% clean. It's like we thought it was normal, but then we're like, no, a lot of people who visit are like, no, this is not normal, and you need to tell people this.
A good example of, and I completely forgot until you had mentioned something, which is basically our philosophy on transparency. And so what we're doing now is we make our revenue number public, and it's the true revenue number. So our website is directly hooked up to our accounting system, and the second you place an order, that number goes up. And we feel that if you're going to be supporting us and buying our products, I think customers have a right to know our revenue number, and in essence, I don't see the problem in that.
And you can find our revenue number on the Humanifesto page under the transparency link too. So you can check. You can even check to see if it's changing or not.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's amazing. And being able to have that kind of transparency, I imagine when you are starting out your business, it must have been one hell of a business brief. I mean, I can't imagine when you started off this business, you came up with this idea, and it's like, okay, I have this idea for a business, and I think we can make a profit off of it. I mean, how did you guys, you talk about being doers, how did you guys make that from idea to actual business?
Well, there are lots of different levels to that. We've kind of been evolving over the past several years. We've always had these values and done our best to execute those values. But at the same time, we started out very small. We didn't have an idea and then launched big. We started locally and just kind of sold at markets and expanded from there, sold within our home state of Indiana. And then recently we've kind of expanded more to the national level. So it's kind of a constant learning process and kind of seeing, okay, how can we do things differently? How can we improve? And that's another big part of our kind of values and on our Humanifesto is we're just always looking to see how we can improve and be in all aspects, in production, and branding, just in our communication.
And even like education too. When we first started making soap, we had no idea about what goes into making soap. And we were just sitting on YouTube and we're like, well, let's look it up. And that's when we realized that there's a lot of animal fats and
pork fat, beef
lard,
fat,
and all sorts of ingredients that we personally do not eat. And so we were like, why are we rubbing this all over our bodies? And so that we wanted to set out to, in essence, make a non-animal based product.
And you can check too, we're not trying to badmouth any other companies, but if you look on the label of a lot of soaps, you'll see sodium tallowate listed out. And what that is essentially is, usually it comes from beef fat. And then that's the soap chemical that's created from beef fat. So it's not obvious that it's animal products, but most mass-produced national bar soaps do have animal.
And a lot of people don't know that too. Like when we go to farmers market and they're like, okay, why are you marketing as vegan or halal? And it's like no, a lot of soaps have beef fat and pork fat. And they don't know. And so also going back to my brother's point is educating the customer as well.
We live in a fast-changing digital world. Dynamic communication and social expression influence just about everything we do. Business is digital. Impact is instant. Brands and customers interact in amazing new ways. From postage stamps to packaging and billboards, HP's Graphic Solutions business is leading these transformations, creating innovative digital print technologies that enable more effective, engaging communication between brands and end users.
But what's great about your company and your products is that we see a lot of vegan body care for like hair or things like that for women, and for a lot of HBA options for women. But there doesn't seem to be as many options for guys out there, and guys care about about their health and their body. And it's wonderful that you guys are addressing this type of market. Do you find that most of your customers now are men or women? Or have you ever looked at them?
More women.
It's about 75% women. We're kind of resolutely neutral in our gendered branding just because we don't think that's important. Unless you're focusing on specific types of skin products or makeup or hair products, we don't think it's necessary. We have like a whole bunch of ingredients to choose from that are both like stereotypically feminine, like lavender, or maybe stereotypically masculine, like cedarwood, or even patchouli is seen as masculine a lot of times. But we see people of both genders just choosing whatever they like.
So we have a shave bar that we designed to be very lathery. We put bentonite clay, which makes it very nice lather and very nice slip to it. And we thought initially, okay, a lot of guys might use it, but that's actually a lot more popular with women. So you go into his point, and a lot of women, like they come like, oh, we need a shave bar. How you guys are sold out? Hurry up! We bring it back in stock, And women, like, there's been countless cases where like people says help with like the razor burns, welts, and everything, and they like live for it and they really like it. So
So we learned not to make an assumption about gender. It's we'll provide options and give some information, but beyond that, it's like choose what you feel is right for you. So that kind of naturally led into the personalization for us because it just made sense. Like we were just kind of choosing what we think would be good, what people would like. But ultimately, it's just better if you can choose yourself. You know what scents you like, or at least you may be willing to experiment. So we have the customization builder where you can make your own versions.
Yeah. So like if there's an amazing soap bar that you love that your wife is using, and you perhaps don't want to smell like lavender flowers, you don't have to.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And so personalization is a big part of your new branding inside and out. You have not only product personalization, but also in your brand executions, like your packaging.
So the product personalization, we have essentially several different types of products where we've kind of done the back-end work of making like different bases for different skin types, and did a lot of testing to find a really great vegan lip balm recipe. And beyond that, we provide different essential oil options for scents. So you choose the scent combo that you want, and then depending on the product, you add in different add-ins for different purposes. Like in a soap, you can add exfoliants. And then it comes to the brand execution personalization, where you choose your packaging options, and then you name your product. So, and that name gets printed on the label of the product. So we've had tons of great names.
And people get really creative with it too. So they get really creative. They go very political, or whatever pop culture is going on at that time. So it's very fun, and we look forward to looking at all the names and stuff too.
A lot of people put the names of like the gift recipient or even themselves, and some people are really functional and they put the recipe of the soap in the name,
so they don't forget about it.
And did you mention they also get to select their card?
Okay.
Packaging. Yeah. So for the soap, there are different pattern cards that you can choose from. Then the label goes on top of the card.
PrintPack. Converting vision into value. At PrintPack, we believe in creating packaging solutions that deliver positive results for your brands. Collaboration at the very beginning of a new product or package design venture is the key to success. Our innovation approach combines your vision with our knowledge of consumer trends to create packaging that enhances your brand and drives your success.
So with Design My Soap, that was our proof of concept. And so we quickly put up a website. We got
very lean model MVP, just very bare bones to put it up to get people to see if people are interested in it.
And I believe we saw roughly like 11,000 different recipes that were being generated through the website. And so through that, we were like, okay, this is great. People are liking this. But how does this all fit together? Because we do have Soapy Soap Company, and that's where we have a bulk wholesale soap. And now we really want to kind of go into the personalization aspect of it, because I mean, there are many soap vendors out there. Almost every city, every state has a local soap vendor, and we, in essence, we needed to grow more than just being a local soap vendor. And we sat down and we thought very hard about what exactly sets us apart, and the way we make our soap really sets us apart. And through that process of making soap, we're able to have our soap ready instantly, so you don't have to wait 60 or 30 to 60 days for it to cure and be safe to use. The way we make our soap, it's instantly ready. And so we figured, well, why not use that to our advantage and start offering personalized body care in essence. And so how LPK helped us is in essence basically
sharing the other side of what makes us unique, which are all those kind of values and our implementations of those values. Us implementing Design My Soap is another example of us being very kind of literal minded and very kind of engineering focused, like, okay, you can design your soap.
designyoursoap.com.
I think, and also like when we started Design My Soap, we're like, okay, people are buying the soap, this and that, but we still want to get that message to the national level. And we realized, okay, you can see we're engineers, we're manufacturers, we perfected the product, but we're not marketers. We kind of don't know how to brand ourselves the right way. So we're like, what, how do we get to the national level? And that's where I think we alluded to earlier, we're just frustrated with how we have to market our product, or how we have to talk about the products. We're like, I think that's when the design brief came in, where we wrote a whole design brief in like one night, very upset, like, this is not how business should be done. We should do it this way. And then we really wanted design help too, because we knew, like, with an amazing product, we need amazing packaging and just amazing, just all around good experience.
And the messaging is we're not people that just give up. And so I think that kind of came through in that design brief of listing out our frustrations, and also realizing that there has to be a way to make this all work and tie together. And I think what LPK ended up doing is absorbing everything that we gave them, and them meeting us. And what they did is, I think they did an amazing job picking out the pieces that are so normal to us that they wanted to basically showcase in essence. And so for us, we're too close to it because it's normal. And so them honing in on that and being able to tell our story perfectly, we're amazed at, because that's very talented. And
I think in the first meeting, like I think some people even like cried or just were in shock of like, you guys really do all of this? And we're like, yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. And I think LPK hit it home, like from the first meeting, they just got everything that what we're all about. And I think the partnership that we have, I think just from day one, we both were on the same page from the get-go, and they understood exactly what we wanted, and they believe the same things that we do.
And
So.
I would say that this is the day you guys all became marketers, is the day that you went to outside collaboration. You realized that there were some wonderful opportunities there with outside collaboration for innovation and really be able to refine your branding. So you may have not been marketers when you started the business, but you're definitely marketers now.
Yeah, and I think this originally was coming from the labels. You're asking about labels, and so
which is part of marketing.
And so before with Design by Soap, we were using thermal printers with a ribbon on it, and so we would buy stock circle labels and run it through a thermal printer and personalize the name on that. The quality of that, I mean, it got the job done.
Yeah.
And we knew that if we're going to that national level, that quality just wouldn't be suitable. Like, I was not happy with that, and so that's when we had then invested in purchasing on-demand color printers.
So yeah, so the label quality was, thermal, it was serviceable, but it really didn't delight your customers like the product.
If there's a holiday coming up and we want to have a special scented soap for Christmas or
Valentine's Day or
exactly, we would have to plan months and months in advance, and here now we just kind of design the artwork and hit a print button and it'll come right out.
And we have the possibility in the future of people uploading images and printing them on their labels, and just a lot of flexibility.
Images,
or if we sit down with LPK and it's like, oh, the blue is not working, we need to change the brand color.
Let's go a little lighter or something.
We could do that too. So.
And it's a real evolution in the way that you've approached your brand, because when you started off your company, your brand was this kind of static thing, but now you're kind of always thinking about evolving your brand.
Yeah. And we kind of always had the thought of like evolutions and changes, but for us sometimes there's a lot of things you had to do in order to make that happen, so it ended up being static. But now, as we think of things specifically in regards to labeling, but also in other areas, we can just change quickly and kind of grow as our customers grow. And
so you guys were actually a step ahead. You were already thinking of your brand as a living thing, but you just didn't know how to implement those thoughts, that concept, into the physical labels and the physical products.
Just without spending a ton of money all the time of just buying more and more.
So now we love marketing. Before we didn't like marketing because we don't like this aspect of convincing customers to buy something they don't need, and I never really liked that. And so now why I say I like marketing is we're doing something for good, and so the messaging is I can stand behind, and so. Because of that, now I like marketing, and so by buying our product, you're helping people, and you're joining that community of helpers, in essence.
And if you need a big thing coming from him that he likes marketing.
Because it is, I look at it now as it's very powerful, and you can either use it for good or you could use it for evil things, and so I didn't really understand that until. Now realizing that, okay, yes, we can use it for good and be very transparent, in essence. And so that coupling of transparency, meaning buy our product if you want it, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. And so that is our marketing now.
And here's who we are, and if you like who we are and want to be a part of what we're doing, and you need soap and lip balm, get it from us. If not, then that's fine too.
And so, like, we have a really strong philosophy of not talking bad about other businesses either. And so
even if we know they're doing like something against the rules or whatever, it's like, you know, we don't want to badmouth them or this and that.
Yeah.
You know? Sorry.
And so that's what we're...
Your mothers would be proud.
That's what we're just, in essence, wanting other businesses to do as well. And we do think that if you treat your employees well, and they go home and they're with their family, then their family will be happy, the employees will be happy, and if everyone's happy, the world would be a better place. And so
it still sometimes feels weird saying these things too, because it's like, that is how it should be. But it is important to communicate these things.
So when you were going through the brandery and you were talking about this business plan, about being so transparent, and also when you were talking with each other about paying yourselves the same as your employees, some of those conversations must have been a little difficult.
Well, those conversations didn't happen at the brandery. I don't believe they did.
Not so much. I mean, some of it may have come out, maybe not necessarily in some of the practices that we're just now implementing, but it's always been kind of part of our personality. But I don't know if we were ever like putting a magnifying glass on that side of us. And then
it was literally that night when we were really, really kind of fed up. Where we just listed out all of our frustrations, and that's when we realized that
like, this is who we are, and let's expand on that. Let's see where this takes us, basically.
And to your point, there are people, like when we do tell them about we're paying our employees the same, or I think I did a pitch competition a little while ago, like a couple of weeks ago, and I think one of the judges said, like, you know, one of the reasons why we might not have been picked is because some investors think that paying employees all the same, everyone is getting paid the same, that's very risky. And we said, okay, that's true, but having a business is risky, you know? You don't know if money's coming in. If money's coming in today, will it come tomorrow? So for us, it's like, you know, we'll see. And we're very hopeful, and we think that this will work. And you know, people have their opinions, absolutely. And that's why I think it's like, because I think it's against the grain where when people say equal pay, they're like, wait, no, that's not going to work. And it's like, no, you know, it'll work.
and that makes you guys the mad optimists.
Right. That leads right.
That's right.
We make soap locally, because you're not about just making soap anymore. You're about making the world a better place.
Yeah.
And so those ideas that you were mentioning earlier, in essence, it was that document that you could kind of narrate it as these are the things that need to happen for us to be okay with marketing, for us, in essence. And so that's basically how that developed. But through the brandery, we learned a lot about the different business practices and different business models.
So going through the brandery, that was basically us part of our changing our mindset from the local soap business to a startup. So it's kind of our evolution. A lot of companies start out going through a business accelerator with that in mind. But for us, it was just a lot of learning, a lot of like realizing how things could be different business-wise and going from there. So it was a kind of an integral step that ultimately led us to where we are today.
Going through the brandery, that's what, so I think what we did in the past is we would never email our customers, and that was because we didn't like spam, and so we're like, oh, let's not spam our customers. And how many years has it been?
It was like 4 years, the first 4 years. Because in our head, it was like, you know, we create an amazing product, people will buy it, they'll like it, they'll come back. And, you know, we'll give them a great experience. But then we realized, no, because we don't want to bother people, because, you know, we don't, like when we get emails sometimes, they're okay, yeah, you know. But then we're like, no, we know people want to know the new scents or the new specials that we're having, or hey, it's Mother's Day, we have this package and this. And
or even what we're doing as a business, or just what's going on internally. People are interested.
Yeah, because we notice like a lot of people when we do Facebook or social media posts, a lot of people like getting updates about like us as like humans, or what are we doing or what's new.
Even people we've never met.
Yeah, yeah.
You had mentioned like conversation amongst ourselves regarding like the business practices, but for us it's more of okay. Here's the logic of we had the idea of paying all of our employees equally, including ourselves. So we're like, okay, well, what does that mean for us? And we just kind of go back and forth. It's not so much difficult conversation. It's more so, okay, this just makes sense. And then we just kind of talk about, okay, what's the pros and cons, and it's like all pros in our eyes. And then it's like, okay, let's just do this.
Yeah, definitely. And that because of that philosophy and that kind of being an integral part of who you are and what the brand is about, that whole idea of like email marketing was about continuing conversation and understanding the difference between spam and like, you don't want to ghost on your customers too, right?
Yeah.
So now that you've got this conversation going between you and your customers, how are you implementing that marketing, that communication throughout all your vehicles? You mentioned Facebook is a good vehicle for you.
So social media is great, even if it's just to kind of share what we're doing, having a conversation with our customers. What we do is very visually oriented, and it can be. So we're big on like sharing pictures and updates in that area. Social media is important. Email is also, like you said, you don't want to ghost your customers. That's a big kind of leg of what we're doing moving forward. Do you want to know?
Yeah. Okay, understanding your customers. I think that's really, really big.
Yeah.
And what we did is we sent out surveys to all of our Design My Soap customers, and
because we wanted to know who our customers were. We always were guessing, okay, our customer might be this and that.
Our customers are people who, what we were thinking was our customers are people who want all natural body care. And after doing customer surveys, we realized that what we had in our mind of who our customers are was not all that accurate. And we really, really learned a lot about our customers. And keep in mind, our surveys that we did were not scientific surveys. They were very much so surveys about our customers' personality. What do they like? What do they not like? And we really kind of wanted to understand the people who are buying soap from us, and I think that was really, really important for us to get a really good understanding, and we were very surprised, and surprised in a good way.
And with that survey, we learned that a lot of people like us, like our story. We thought it was more about the quality of our products and this and that, but really it was more of who we are, what we stand for, and everything. And they said they bought our products because they wanted to support us and they wanted us to do well. And that was a very big thing, and that hit home to us. And that's why I think now we are putting the forefront of our values, of our beliefs, and saying, hey, this is who we are, and putting that in the forefront. So.
Yeah, and that goes back to, as you said, understanding your customers. Right. You had to understand what they were buying. They weren't buying soap. They weren't buying lip balm. They were buying you guys. Yeah. They were buying your values, your beliefs, and your approach to the world. So good on you for that. Sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, the survey, though, I mean, a lot of companies go many years and never survey their customers. How did you guys know it was time to kind of look at your customer base and see if you needed to redirect or pivot?
An investor asked us, who are your customers? And we froze. And when we froze, that told us something. And that's when we're like, we're not going to make stuff up. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear. And
at the same time, like demographics, which we get from like Google Analytics, that's not enough. Like if it's a woman like 25 to 35, okay, but who is your customer?
Yeah.
Freezing, we didn't like. And so that's when we're like, this is something that we can know. All we have to do is send out surveys. And we sent out surveys to different groupings of customers. So customers who bought X number of products and customers who bought this number of products.
Or customers who bought once, this and that.
To really get the core of the people who supported us the most, who should, in theory, reflect what
our target customer should be.
Essentially,
Yeah. So someone who wasn't going in for an impulse buy, it was someone who was really buying into something that was core to your brand and finding out what that core was. Yeah. So it's interesting that one moment, I can almost picture you guys like, standing in front of that investor and be like, oh, customer, who's our customer? Like, wow, we got to figure that out. And how that really helped evolve the brand.
And it's not a great moment to be honest, but the important thing to take from things like that is to learn and be like, okay, what can I take from this moment and move forward and learn something and improve.
And that survey helped a lot for us too.
We purposely left the normal questions out. We specifically did not want to know their age, really. I mean, it doesn't matter to us how old you are. And so for things where it didn't matter, we just left it out. Like, was there other things that we left out?
We didn't do the typical like age and gender and like income bracket. Because it's more like, okay, what do you believe? Like, who are you internally? Like your psychographics, from what we've learned, and those things were very important and informative to us.
Yeah, being able to rethink consumer demographics is huge. The fact that you guys were thinking about demographics in a way that, if they're thinking about their guiding philosophies versus disposable income, because often when we think of a premium product, we think it has to be in a higher income bracket because it has to come out of disposable income that they have that just can be used for impulse items, but you guys don't want to be the impulse item.
Because it's kind of their motivation. So if they see like supporting a company with our values or even just if like buying high quality body care, if that's like a priority for them and they're motivated, they'll carve that out of their budget just because it's a different type of product. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have like a certain income to buy this. It's kind of just rethinking things and reprioritizing.
And that holds true with that sliding scale again. Of even we had one farmers market customer who came up to us and they specifically said, like, I really would like to buy your soap, but I just can't afford it. And that really hit home to me because you should be able to afford this. And I didn't like the fact that it has to be expensive to be premium or whatnot, and so that's why we have that sliding scale of this is what it is, and pay what you can.
And going along with the sliding scale, we aren't going to do like discounts or sales, like 50% off. It's like, okay, we have the sliding scale, pay what you can or pay what you wish to, and we'll go from there.
So I'll expand a little bit about what Anthony's talking about. In essence, we're doing away with sales. So if you think about the concept of the sale, you have a product and you basically are pricing it at a price point where you're making good margin. But if it's moving kind of slow, then you're letting yourself kind of be like, okay, I can eat up some margin, let's put it on sale. What we're telling everyone is this is it. We can't go below this. And so in essence, we can't have a sale because we're putting our prices out there. Now, in essence,
we're putting it up to the customer. So it's like in 1 month, if you can't afford $10 a bar, but you can afford $6 for that month, get it for $6. But then when you have more money, pay $10 or $15.
And so the marketing approach is not going to be like, hey, 10% off or anything like that. Instead, it'll be more focused on reminders, like, hey, so this is a holiday, this would make a good gift idea, and it's more content focused rather than enticing the customer because they're getting a savings.
I just want to mention that along with the sliding scale, we're optimists, but we're pragmatic optimists. So we have kind of the low point of the scale for each product does cover our costs, our the employees' labor, the overhead, keeps the lights on, because to make the biggest impact on the world, we need to keep the business running. So we combine all of our kind of lofty ideals and values with our experience in the real world to kind of get the most traction for everything. So yeah.
So you're trying to bring this connectedness through your causes. You're also trying to do that with your products. Your products are you're trying to create something that is luxurious to you, something that's great to smell, and something that's even beautiful to unbox.
Yeah, instead of like having people get excited about sales, we've made it a big focus to have people get super excited about like the experience. So like LPK created these amazing boxes that people,
this one right here.
So our idea is that we'll make the experience so great that people will just want to share it organically. And
because in the past what we would do is when we would packages, we would just put them in like USPS boxes, or we would put them in like cardboard boxes. We would make sure everything is safe, put our stickers on it, the 3 guys, and ship it out. And that brand experience, was very functional. People got their product in a safe, timely manner. But then when we opened ourselves, what is this? Is this? It was functional, but it didn't give that happiness. Didn't give that. And when we were teaming up with LPK, we're like, we want to give people an amazing brand experience. When they open a package from the Mad Optimist, it gives them joy, it gives them happiness. And this is what LPK came up with. Amazing. I'll open it right now, and you'll see. I don't know if you can, but it says happy body, happy soul, crazy for good, and it just gives, when you open the box, it just gives people like this happiness. It's amazing. It's an experience, a story, and and it's a very soft box too.
So you get a sensory type of experience that you have actually with the soap inside. So you've got sensory inside and out with touch and sight, and touch. Smell, sight, inside. So you're giving that same brand all the way through. Now, have you guys been talking to any retail buyers about your product?
So that's part of the plan. We've launched online, and then moving forward, we'll be essentially creating a retail dimension. So the Mad Optimist is all personalized. So what we'll be doing is taking the data we get from our online customers and basically creating these retail offerings that rotate. So we'll have a set of SKUs, UPCs, where every 3 months a completely new set will be released under those SKUs. So the customers will always have something new and fresh, which is something we've seen with our customers, is like, what's new? What's the new scent? And also utilizing the data that we're gathering. I mean, we're a soap company, we're a values company, we're a data company too. And
we're going to be taking like the most popular scents or the most popular exfoliants and see what people really like, and give that to the masses of people who don't want to personalize their bar, but then just want a quick like, hey, I want this bar. So
there's a lot we can do with it, and this kind of ties back to the printers again, and we can hone in to specific geographic regions and look at the trending soaps in specific states.
Like if everyone in the Midwest likes spearmint and lime together, then it's like, okay, for all people in the Midwest will have a bar that has spearmint and lime, and people in California, they like all peppermint, then that region will get that.
And the plan is to rotate quarterly, and so and to keep it easy for the retailers, we just have one GS1 barcode and have it all one per product. So they may have maybe 12 barcodes. The barcodes will stay the same, so they don't continuously have to update their systems. However, the actual product, the bar, would be different.
And we'll also curate the set, so it's not all like 12 bars of mint soap.
It came time when we got samples, we were like, how durable are these essential oils? So we were like, let's test them out. And then my brother was like, hey, let's test them out by dropping the essential oils onto the ground. And then we were like, what? And I think Anthony was like, this is a horrible idea. What are you talking about? And both me, I think that was time both me and my brother got really excited. We're like, no, let's do it.
And so I don't think I was a part of like I was in the other room after that when they started.
So I think when he said let's do it, I think both of us had 2 bottles in our hands, like yes, let's go. So then I think we literally took a bottle and from here dropped it onto the ground, onto the concrete to see if it would break. And I think he did the first test because he's always, oh wait, let me do it. So then I was like, okay, go ahead, because he'll always think of everything. So then he did it, and he's like, oh, I didn't do it. I'm like, wait, let's do it higher. So then we would do it, and I think at one point I just threw it on the ground because I was like, wait, I want to see, let's see. You're telling me if
I
this
think
can
you wanted
break.
it to
yeah,
break.
I wanted it to break. Because you have to test the product.
And then what I'm hearing in the next room is, why are they laughing like hyenas out in the warehouse?
Yeah. And I slammed it, and the bottles didn't break. And we're like, okay, let's go get 1,000 of those bottles. These are amazing bottles. And I think it was also a great experience, too. Both of us, like you said, we were just laughing, having a good time, and trying to see who could break the bottles. And it's like working with your brother.